Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we request everyone to please settle down?
Please. And we have our guest of honor, Mr. Datta Patsalgikar. Please a huge round of applause for him as well. And our second guest of honor, Mr. Satish Mathur. Thank you. Now may I invite Mr. Kapish Mehra, who is the Managing Director of Rupa Publications India, for publisher's address, please. Thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause for him as well? Thank you so much, Mr. Kapish Mehra, for being so modest. Guest over here. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite upon the stage Shri Datta Patsalgikar, who is the Commissioner of Police, Mumbai. A huge applause for him.
Distinguished guests who are present here, the panelists, ladies and gentlemen, and the media, who I'm sure would have a good opportunity to cover this important event. I happen to be a fortunate person to have read this book earlier. Mr. Vijay Kumar presented it to me about 2 weeks back, and so very frankly I couldn't put it down. And as the book progressed, especially when the operational part came in, I think I could turn the pages within seconds, especially when you say T minus certain time. And I think the last T minus less than 60 seconds went in a flash. A fantastic book, sir, extremely well written, and I just don't have words to praise for it. A little bit I would like to say, sir, that Mr. Vijay Kumar is somebody very close to us, to the police fraternity. Apart from the distinguished service that he has had, he happens to be the son of a police officer. That makes us very close. And most importantly, sir, I've heard that your daughter-in-law is from Maharashtra. So that something is very dear to us and to our heart too. But that apart, a little bit I would like to mention that I'd seen the first time Mr. Vijay Kumar when he was in the SPG, protecting our Prime Minister, and definitely we as young officers would see him in a different sort of a frame and a perspective. Gradually, he was the Commissioner of Police, Chennai, and then we read about you, sir, going consistently against the underworld and various criminals that operated in an organized manner. He also happened to be the Director of the National Police Academy and particularly trained 2008 and 2009 batches. And I have a number of our Deputy Commissioners from here who have trained under you, sir. and the words that they use to praise you are tremendous. So I would say that he is a great strategist. Viewing it from the book that he has written, especially Chasing Veerappan, which was going on for years, the person who had killed more than 50 persons in a very cruel manner, etc. All of you have read about it, heard about it, but the way the action took place, I would say, is a classical intelligence operation with great field tactics. I would definitely say that it is a book that needs to be read, and to understand how it went about, how Mr. Vijay Kumar strategized the whole thing for the years that he was repeatedly in the STF and subsequently successful in it. But most importantly, sir, I would really appreciate the way you have highlighted the roles of your colleagues and others who participated in the operation. That shows that you are a true team leader and a team captain, and I would say that is the best part of the book, sir. Thank you very much for putting it into the public domain. It is something that all of us wanted to read. Thank you very much, sir.
Distinguished guests, respected seniors, ladies and gentlemen, and members from the media and press fraternity. It's indeed a privilege to be present here for the book launch of the absolutely brilliantly written book Veerappan. When I got it, I was wondering why Vijay Kumar sir has put his own photograph on the cover, because in his erstwhile avatar he used to look somewhere close to what you have here, and it was only him who had the daring to plan and to live the life of the brigand, which he is so brilliantly portrayed in the book. I read it this morning from about 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I read the complete book, and to show proof, I have marked it at various places. But it is a brilliantly written, not only a book, but as Datta also said about the planning, the strategy, and his overall perspective, and the complete resolve to knock this man out. It was really a blot on India's police system and on India's ability to control one particular person. And what I really appreciate is that, and what we would all appreciate once you buy the book, is that the slip-ups have also been very duly acknowledged. And I perhaps will just take a minute or two more. I had a chance to investigate for one of the cases where General Vaidya was killed, and some of the top-notch terrorists from Punjab were involved. But prior to Vaidya's murder, I don't know how many people of us know, the dreaded terrorist Zinda was holed out here in a small room in Antop Hill, and somebody got suspicious about him and called up the police station, and the police station sent a constable who knocked on the door, and Zinda, realizing what's happening, actually called him in and then locked him from outside and escaped to VT. The slip-up, which I can now perhaps publicly acknowledge, is that when he went to VT, he was carrying a lot of cash, and somehow, unfortunately, some of our policemen did not realize who he was and allowed him to go scot-free to Ahmedabad. Otherwise, right there and then, like Veerappan escaped with that, somebody gave him some oil and he managed to escape from police custody. Similarly, we had Zinda also in our custody, and we could have really prevented some more things which took place through him and his gang. So that's one way of learning and ensuring that our work is all about perfection. And the perfection which Mr. Vijay Kumar has narrated in his book, and I'm lucky that I'm actually practicing some of his perfection, because he's still highly active with us on the LWE front. The other day itself, he went to the Surjagarh part of Gadchiroli, which is a very sensitive part of Gadchiroli. I could not accompany him. One of my other officers accompanied him, and we could not recognize who was the fittest. He was actually the fittest on the ground, right up to Surjagarh. So we really benefit from his advice even now, and it's not some theoretical advice, it's hands-on practical, by which we are really still working today into our Naxal operations. So compliments to you, sir, and we must thank Mr. Akshay Kumar, because now you've seen the brigand, now you've seen the author, and perhaps you may act either of the two in the forthcoming. The choice is yours. So we will leave it to you, sir. And with that, I would like to just finish. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Satish Sahni, who is a very well-known and highly reputed former Commissioner of Police of Mumbai. Please put your hands together for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I begin by complimenting Mr. Vijay Kumar for a fascinating book. He has a nice turn of phrase, and that makes the reading of the book a delightful experience. The last 50 pages keep you on the edge of a precipice. It's something like watching a Hitchcock movie. The book is a narrative of 2 decades of engagement of 2 highly trained and thoroughly professional task forces, one of Tamil Nadu, the other of Karnataka, with a dreaded criminal. A criminal who was elusive, who was ruthless, wily, and cruel. He got his own infant daughter killed because her unpredictable crying in the dense forest could give away his secret hiding place. That was the cruelty of the man. This book also tells us about a host of men, highly dedicated, highly committed, who voluntarily joined the task forces, knowing fully well that death was lurking somewhere near every day. One name is coming off and on in the book: Walter Isaac Davara. He founded the task force of Tamil Nadu. The author calls him his mentor, his role model, and he is almost on the verge of hero worshipping. I would love to talk about Walter Davaram at length, but that takes time. But in my perception, probably the disciple has surpassed the Guru. There is a wonderful account of the kidnapping of Kumar, the famous film star. Veerappan kept him in his custody for 108 days. Now, probably all of you know about his kidnapping. But what may have gone out of your memory is the fact of his demands. The demands which Veerappan made is something extraordinary. That is not the type of demand a criminal would make. The demands that he made were of a very skilled politician. And it also showed his deep love for his state of Tamil Nadu. He wanted Kaveri water dispute to be settled, and he wanted the Tamil saint Thiruvalluvar's statue to be erected in Bangalore. You don't expect a criminal like him talking these things. Finally, it was the tactic which brought an end to Veerappan. A task force officer from Karnataka was going back after his term. And the author was having a conversation with him. And he told him, "Sir, we are doing it wrong." He says, "Why?" He said, "We have been fighting this man in the jungles. And that is what got registered. All the fight in jungles, Veerappan had the better of the STF because he knew the jungle like the palm of his hand. When the tactic was changed to bring him out in the open, and they got the opportunity because he needed medical help. And it is there that the author's brain conceptualized a plan which he executed meticulously and brought the curtain down on Veerappan. When the matter was reported to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, she said, "This is the best news that I have ever got in my entire term as Chief Minister." And that perhaps was the best compliment to STF and its leader. Before I end, I would like to tell you that the most heartwarming part of the book is the way the author acknowledges the support he got from his wife, the emotional strength that she gave him was extraordinary. It's remarkable that a lady who knows that her husband is playing with fire, he could be dead any day, teases him with her gentle humor, boosts his morale, which is so infectious that it affects the whole force. And that was the strength which he got. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for an insightful speech. And ladies and gentlemen, today we have amongst us a very, very gifted actor who definitely needs no introduction. Along with being the superstar of Bollywood, he has recently bagged a national award in the Best Actor category for his outstanding performance in the film Rustam. And in conversation with Mr. Akshay Kumar over here, can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? And in conversation with Mr. Akshay Kumar, we have our author, Mr. K. Vijay Kumar. So please put your hands together for the next round of conversation that we're going to have with them. Thank you.
आनंद होता है because the secret has been disclosed by the Commissioner of Police Intelligence. Report has been perfect. My daughter-in-law indeed belongs to this place, and we're very proud of the Maharashtra connection.
Thank you very much, sir, for... Yeah, let's talk to them first. Thank you, everybody. I am so happy being here in front of all you real heroes. And a real hero come here and he gets an opportunity to talk to a real hero here. So first of all, I would like to thank everybody and thank you very much, Vijayji, for giving me this chance. I must tell you, when I came to know about him and when I read about him, and you will not believe it, on my phone his name is written as Legend Vijay Kumarji. So that is how that's the kind of respect I have for him. I've actually, while coming back in the car, sir, I had some few questions which I wanted to ask you. Um, this operation was called Operation Cocoon, right? So why Cocoon? Why you could have had Operation Tall Man or an Operation Big Mustache, something.
Actually, the whole operation was done in silos. A, B will know what they are doing, but the C and D will not know what these guys are doing. So the innermost code was me and Santhamare Kannan. Very often the code names were just picked up at random, just off the sleeve without any even premeditation. So Cocoon, before that we had an operation called Inundation, where we flooded his area with our troops. Small teams were injected into that area to terrify him, and he was living in a cave, eating only eggs and water, and eggs, nothing else. High protein diet I have mentioned. And that cave was highly impregnable, much worse and much sinister than the caves I have seen in Kashmir and other places. So the word inundation was just taken like that. Initially, like you said, they had this big, something like a big mustache came to our mind. But cocoon, we said, normally what happens, the butterfly goes to freedom, bursting the cocoon. Sometimes we use the word cocoon to say cocoon or cloistered, sequestered or isolated. So in that sense, it just occurred and I said, Kannan, let it call as cocoon. So vehicle itself was called cocoon. That is the origin of this.
I would like to also know, like in my house, my wife is a writer and I am a fighter who fights on screen, and you are both of that, writer and a fighter. So, but there's always a fight. My job is very tough. She says her job is very tough. So will you just tell us which job, fighter or a writer?
First of all, I am an admirer of your wife's writing. Please compliment her. I have not met with her in person, and I have been very, very beautiful, lovely humor, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Now, between these two, I am like a shoulder-fired missile. I mean, people think that I am a big guy, but I have been fired from the shoulders of my guys. When I was a cop, all the junior cops fired me, and I used to be sitting on the shoulders. As a writer, again, people like Kapish, Vikas Singh, who was my partner, then all the Sharwani, and then you had Amrita, then you had Yamini and people like that. So I got a team here also. So I continue to play the same role, delegating, getting things done and pushing. Both are equally matching.
But you have to pick one because मेरे घर में बड़ी problem चल रही है. I'm saying my job is very hard.
Now that I can no more be a real fighter because uniform has been taken away from me on 30th of September 2012, I can't don the uniform. Still I am retaining some of them. Hoping sometime the age will go to like US Supreme Court judges have no age. You can die in office. Hoping that some order, something may come some other time. I'm holding on. There would be. If in this present phase I am a writer, but I am a fighter. I mean, writer who is fighting to be a writer. Its struggle is very protracted. Writing is not an easy thing. I was a very lazy writer. I am okay as a reader, more of a plodder. I read slowly, steadily, 25 pages. And if I touch a book, if I like it, for example, Raghu Karnad, he's here, famous writer. Father's Fields, when he wrote the book, he's sitting here. Can I ask Raghu Karnad, where are you? Raghu. So when I read books like that, that one word you mentioned, that people die twice. One, they die. And second time, when the people who have the memory of the man who died also die. So these kind of things touch me. Very good expression, turn of phrase, good emotions represented well. I keep picking up the ideas. And even in the middle of the night, I just wake up and note down in a slip of paper. And I went on collecting a whole lot. And finally, it helped me to condense it and a lot of other support. So to your question, my answer has been that now I am a fighter in the form of a writer.
So, I was just, as Sir was saying that I should do a movie on it, what would you like me to play? You or should I play him?
You can easily do both the roles.
I can't do a double role in this.
No, with the kind of cinematic help you got, I think you will be equally good because he was very sprightly, very spindly, very thin like a Maratha soldier. There was not an inch of flab on him like you.
Yeah, he was very athletic.
Absolutely. Right? He was 52, and the guy who did the postmortem, he has done about 10,000 postmortems. Postmortem is autopsy.
Right.
So he picked out his body and took it out, and then he called me, Valli Nayagam doctor. I distinctly remember him telling, you told me he's 52, but he's not more than 25. But for his eyes. His heart condition was fantastic. His liver and other parameters were beautiful. And the whole systems were functioning so well, except for the cataract. He is a perfectly fit 25, he said. So he was absolutely fit. I think it's a very difficult question between fighter and writer. Which role he should fit in? I think you fit in both the roles.
All right, sir.
Because you do it with a gusto. You're so committed. When you get into your role, you just get under the skin or whatever. So I think the choice will be yours.
So I can ask you, sir, one thing. If you would have caught this man alive, what would have been 2 questions you would have asked him, sir?
Oh, I might have had to salute him later because we don't know where he would have reached. Lucky it didn't happen. Lucky it didn't happen. It was not as if he shut the window of opportunity. It was a very slim window of opportunity which was indeed given. Under the law, under the 100 IPC, a man who is on this side aisle of protection is allowed to use the weapon in extreme situations, and this was one. And we had lost about 124 known and about 50-60 unknown. A lot of skeletons were dug up. We could not trace it back to him. So which a deadly and dangerous man who can elude. If you see the last ambush, it was like a perfect ambush. Even I didn't imagine it's going to be so perfect. The whole, everything, including Providence and all the other forces were working in our favor. There were a couple of interruptions on that fateful night between 10:15 to 10:30. A lot of things were happening. But around 10:48, 49, things completely turned to our favor, and every minute was in our favor. We fired 338 bullets, which is about 10 times of what he fired. But you can't go by this ratio and say that we inflicted disproportionate damage. It was something very legitimate and which is due. I really wonder whether he would have allowed us to capture him alive. He denied himself the opportunity when his number 2 opened the first fire, who was having an AK-47. His number 2 is called Sethukuti Govindan, who would have been deadlier than Veerappan had he survived, because he was groomed that way and he was becoming very powerful. So Veerappan did not open the first fire. It was Govindan who opened the AK-47 because we guessed it from where the bullets came. It was coming from the rear and there was a side seat and he was facing our side. But our ambush for once was absolutely perfect and we were very, very lucky. So that's why I infinitely thank the other powers, superior powers and Providence, because in police work is a very hazardous thing. Many ifs and buts are there, and that's why I have a very special affiliation, not just because I belong to that tribe myself, because I understand. They are the guys like the fighter pilots, they are the guys like the stand-up comedian. This is what exactly I told in another interview. They are the guys like radio jockey who have to be thinking fast on the feet, and these guys are really facing danger. So I have a special affiliation for my folks. I'm a little tribal in that sense, if you don't mind. Therefore, that opportunity was given to the extent it was required, but second time when the fusillade came from inside, we said that's it. And Kannan was orchestrating, I was just indicating, so we went all out. Otherwise, it would have been, if he had lifted his hand in the first opportunity given, possibly what you just surmised could have happened.
Well, I had these questions. I would like if anybody else would like to ask him one question. Anybody would want to ask him? Yeah. Somebody can give him a mic.
Good evening, sir. I am your trainee in the academy, sir. And sir has just said that you are fighting to be a writer, sir. What is the next project sir is working on, sir? Can we expect a fiction novel or something on the Kashmir days or something on Chennai Commissioner days, sir?
One thing at a time and that done well. So Mr. Kapish is saying that it's going well. Let it go fully well. Let it finish the thing. And all of you reached to the book and all of you rate me. And some of you can rate me as single star also. One of them said it's all cooked up. Another 1 star, not many. Fortunately, not many 1 stars. Couple of them. Another said hogwash. I welcome that. And guys, I couldn't figure out who the guy was. I would have reached out to him very warmly because it is in my nature to walk into the enemy's den also. And if possible, extend a hand of friendship. But if it's denied, then counter it in a different way. But most of you have been very generous. You continue to grade me generously as ever. And I will think of, there are 3-4 things in my mind, but if you start getting distracted, my current mission will be incomplete. So let the mission be accomplished and then we will by and by get into the next one. But there are so many thoughts going on, like 20 movies are going on in my mind.
Well, thank you Sir, that was more than enough for me to know about it, and it's been a pleasure being here, sir.
It's been a great pleasure getting to know you, Mr. Akshay. I thank Siva who put me to the Prasanna and also Mr. Vishwas Patel. Whether he's here, I'm not too sure. So I'm very happy that I was able to meet you. If I had another chance to get back into the jungle, I will rely on you as my buddy. So all of them, the cops were sitting in front row and you are fluently fitting in. Absolutely. So let me ask you a counter question.
Yes, sir, please, I'm
In
ready.
case I have
I'm
to
all
ask
set.
you, if it's permitted, Tapish, in case I ask you, because if I ask you how are you keeping yourself fit, you will give me a 2-hour formula, which is not possible for the police guys because they are very busy 24/7. So what is the most condensed form of exercise? Very 1-minute drill or something very small, very condensed. Can you think of something?
Well, the 1 minute thing I would just say is I believe in one thing which is very important. If possible, it can happen in. I know because of the hours of duty the police guys have, it becomes a little bit not impossible, but it can be, but it becomes difficult. Is the fact that if everybody starts eating their dinner before 6:30 and finish it off, life would be so set. You will actually trust me and believe me, the body will react so well to you, and your age will come down at least 10 years younger. This is what I believed in, and this is हमारे शास्त्रों में भी यही लिखा हुआ है कि अगर 6:30 से पहले आप लोग खाना खा लो सूर्यास्त से पहले, तो आपकी जिंदगी काफी से ज्यादा सुधर सकती है. So that I would just give it small advice.
So guys, watch out. Our SOP, that is police standing order, I used to call it police sleeping order, says snatch your sleep because it's not often given to you. Nobody offers to you. Whenever you get it, snatch it. So we normally sleep around afternoon because our second part of the day begins again. 6 o'clock comes in between the peak time for you. So better put the SOP, revise it and tell your goons to keep you free at 6 o'clock and try to have an early meal. But there's a lot of science behind what he says. I recently read the guys who are going very, very late to sleep, the liver function is supposed to be at its peak at a certain time. And at 3 to 4, you're going to penalize and have a food only 2 hours before the liver is not going to respond. But of course, there are exceptions. There are deadly guys who are nocturnal. I have mentioned a couple of fellows in my book also. There are absolute owls. But to be a lark is a better thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And you are a lark. One day I WhatsApped you and you are replying. I thought the reply will come around 9 o'clock. He was replying at 5:30 and was already on his way to somewhere. He said he's going for his...
I was doing my dubbing.
Tell me one more. Last question, sir. Chief guest, sir. Last question for myself. You're in a very interesting field where you've got the whole team, you're orchestrated and everybody working for. So sometimes you reach success even when you have not anticipated something will be a hit. Even when you have not anticipated so much, something will become a big flash and big hit. Sometimes when you have planned and you thought it's going to be a deadly hit, it may not reach there. So how do you cope?
Well, coping, see, I have done about 130 films by now, and this it's become a part of my life. Lot of times, even when I look at a movie in a trial or something and I see, I think this is going to work, and it doesn't. All I can say is it gives me motivation to work more harder and to go ahead and try and do something more spectacular and make it an event out of it or something like that. So, but the whole idea is to work more harder and harder in this film industry. So that's the only way.
Also, your being so humble when you're at the peak of success is also something which made me look at you as a kind of role model in that sense. I have multiple role models, and in that sense I admire you. When I went to Sukma, where we lost 12 CRP constables, you are one of the first to offer something, 9 lakhs or 10 lakhs for each of the constables. Sometimes he doesn't publicize what he's doing. I was touched. Then you did something for the cancer patients, and that's why my special admiration, very, very special admiration for you. You may not like this being told by me, but I indeed, my special affinity or affection for you started with that. Apart from your other reliable, solid qualities and that perpetual smile. Give it up. Wonderful to be with you, and thank you, Akshay.
Thank you very
for being
much.
here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
I want to acknowledge and thank everybody who is here. Hemant, Kumar, Dava, Mr. Commodore Jha, Kapish, and your whole team, and Ganesh Kolegal, and Chief Guest, and all of, and you, Satish, my dear colleague, and Pachal Gita. for being with me, and every one of you who have responded. It's wonderful to be in the midst of all of you. Thank you for your support.
Can we request all our distinguished guests to come here on stage?
आदिल आदिल राकेश राकेश आदिल इधर 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 यार आगे कहाँ से जाऊँ फाइट हो ना तब डाल लो चलो आगे 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 चलो चलो पुढे चलो आगे चलो पुढे चलो भाई नहीं देगा यार नहीं देगा नहीं देगा क्या यार फ्रेम में
Just 1 minute. So let's have some kind of an understanding, not just 2-3 questions. And then you should not again go to the next man. 2-3 questions. Okay.
आपने इस आज बुक को लॉन्च किया है, आपने कुछ बुक भी पढ़ी होगी, आपकी पहली प्रतिक्रिया, और आपने कहा था कि इनको आपने लेजेंड के नाम पर आपने अपने मोबाइल में स्टोर किया है, तो उसकी वजह ये है कि ये इस किताब के अंदर ही आपको सारी वजह मिल जाएगी कि इन्होंने क्या क्या कर दिया है, और किताब के अंदर जो किया वो तो एक इनके ज़िंदगी का एक बहुत छोटा हिस्सा है, और भी इन्होंने कितनी कितनी चीज़ें की हैं मैं जानता हूँ, अभी तक ज़्यादा कोई लोग जानते नहीं हैं, लेकिन वैसे भी अगर आप इनको गूगल में भी चले जाएंगे, इनके बारे में पढ़ेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि इनको लेजेंड क्यों कहा जाता है। जैसे सर ने कहा था, एक ही सवाल है, सर ने कहा था कि अगर इस फिल्म में अगर आपको मौका मिले तो आप कौन से रोल में देखना चाहेंगे?
मैं I would love to play him, and because the whole planning, the whole mastermind, the whole how the things has to be done, and I don't know, sir बता सकते हैं कि वीरप्पन कौन खेलेगा? सर आप ही बताइए।
We'll have to figure out. We'll have to chase another brigand and get hold of somebody. One more last question and we'll stop. Any other question?
सर आपसे सवाल ये है कि ये पूरी जो आपने किताब लिखी है, आपके बारे में जो कहा गया, पढ़ा गया, इस किताब में वो सारांश करके आपने रखा है, कैसा फील हो रहा है कि सारे आपके IPS ऑफिसर्स फ्रेंड आए?
No, I feel very proud as a part of the member of this community that I had many opportunities working with many officers and I was able to build a strong team. It was about a team's work and I'm very immensely pleased to attribute it to the team. This attribution is to the late Dr. Jayalalitha because she was a great support to us, and also to all the security forces, search team. That is how we are dedicated. Thanks.
सर इंडियन आर्मी से रिलेटेड आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा।
चलो अभी
सर आप आर्मी के बारे में हमेशा बात करते हैं, इसके बारे में